The war in Ukraine is causing gas prices here to skyrocket. Those rising prices now impacting gig workers, and they depend on their cars to make a living. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena spoke to one driver who's constantly calculating gas before accepting rides.
To understand how gas prices are impacting workers who rely on their cars for a living, we met up with San Francisco resident Ron Dugant. He divides his days between driving for Lyft and delivering food for Doordash.
I'll look at that delivery. I'll do a quick math equation in my head.
3 years ago, he was a math teacher. Now, with California's gas prices averaging $5.44 per gallon, he's relying on math again. Now to decide if a ride is worth it. How is this impacting the number of orders that you're accepting?
You have to count even better. Anything over 2 miles, and I need to make $3 per mile.
Instead of driving around, he waits in a parking lot with several restaurants across the street. He's doing everything in his power to save gas, even though he drives a Prius.
I just got an order.
Now, Rondo rejects about 80% of deliveries.
They're too low paying.
He's also considering to do something else. Not drive anymore and take other jobs because of how high gas prices are.
Of course. It's for sure, without an increase in our pay, it would be just mentally like nobody's that dumb.
Sherry Murphy with Gig Workers Rising is hearing of workers leaving ride-sharing jobs after this gas increase.
These gig workers who were on the front lines of this pandemic have been hit the hardest. They were frontline workers, and yet the companies did nothing.
Randu is urging customers to tip more and for Uber, Lyft, and Doordash to offer more bonuses. In a statement, Doordash said in part, "We're proud to provide Dashers with access to discounts on gas and other car maintenance to help them maximize their earnings, including 2% cashback on gas at any station for Dasher Direct cardholders." In the meantime, Randu is being strategic with his deliveries.
And I got a delivery to do right now.
Luz Pena, ABC 7 News.
You know, I wish people knew what it was like to deliver for Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, all these companies. I just spent an hour driving around for $1.19 tip. I mean, would it hurt y'all to tip us, throw us $5? I got $1.19 tip and $2 from the app. What's that? That's not even enough to cover gas. How am I supposed to survive like that? Homeless, I'm there. This that I'm sitting in, it's gone. 4 months behind, there's no way I could pay for that. Everything fell apart on me. I haven't been able to sustain myself, provide for myself. And these are essential services. I just wish people knew what it was like. I wish they understood what it was like to drive for these services.
What's good, YouTube? This is RPU here, and I'm back again with another video. And guys, Uber drivers are out here getting wrecked. More hours of work, less pay, and higher gas prices. It's unsustainable. Who can survive like that? Especially in California with gas prices at $6, $7 a gallon. In my opinion, we are witnessing the death of the rideshare economy in real time. As drivers protest unfair working conditions, Uber is quietly rolling out their driverless cars. Even as Uber stock plunged 27%, the CEO did not even bat an eye because they made record profits this year off of your labor. Uber doesn't care about you. They never cared about you. They used you to build their brand, and now they're about to replace you with an all-electric, driverless car. Minimum expenses, all profits to the company. You can't compete, and they know it, which is why they want you out of the gig economy. Let's talk about it. In March, Uber stock was down 27% below its IPO price. This due to the pandemic and there being a shortage of drivers. The current price of Uber stock is down 37% from its all-time high at $26.07 a share. Lyft stock was not immune either, as their stock plunged on dismal forecasts. But despite these drops in stock price, Uber has been able to double their revenue and move up their timeline in expectation for even more profits. All this while soaring gas prices are forcing some Uber and Lyft drivers off the road. When Sergio Avidian, 55, started driving full-time for Uber and Lyft in 2016, he used to make $3,000 a week. Wow, that's crazy money. $3,000 a week, I would have been putting it all into crypto. All into crypto. I hope that this man was saving, investing, and making the right moves, man, in order to transition out of this gig economy, because it's not going to last forever. I knew it wasn't going to last forever. When the pandemic hit, millions of people dropped out of the workforce, right? And the government started providing stimulus checks, subsidizing everyone's income. Now, that stimulus money is drying up, and people don't have as much discretionary spending as they once did. You're starting to see that as people are tipping less and less, right? So I seen the writing on the wall, and I hope that other gig drivers seen it as well. And I hope that they saved, invested, and made the right moves, man. I really do. Because it's getting hard out here, especially with these gas prices. He says now it's impossible to make that kind of money. He said, coming out of the pandemic, demand for rides is high, but inflation and the rising price of gasoline has made it harder for drivers to earn what they once did. Gas prices pretty much crippled all drivers, Chris said, contributor at the Rideshare Guy, a blog aimed at helping rideshare drivers earn more money. Nearly half of rideshare workers, including Uber and Lyft drivers, as well as food deliverers for companies like Grubhub and Doordash and Uber Eats, quit or drive less because of the recent spike in gas prices, according to the Rideshare Guy's own poll. Wow. Over 50, or we could say nearly half, almost 50% of rideshare workers have quit or drive less due to the recent spike in gas prices. That's crazy. Who can survive off of this, especially with gas prices in California at $6-7 a gallon? I hope that it's only a temporary thing, but as time goes on, we are going to have another segment of drivers say, I can't do this anymore. And that's all a part of the plan, because they want to phase you out. The plan is to phase you out. You are being replaced with AI and robotics. The Consumer Price Index, which measures the prices Americans must pay for goods and services, is up 8.5% from a year ago, notching a fresh high in March. However, gas prices jumped 18.3% for the month, boosted by the war in Ukraine and the pressure that it's putting on the supply. Everything, it's Putin's fault. It's Putin's fault why your gas prices are so high. It's not the fact that we have been printing trillions of dollars and about to send $30 billion overseas to Ukraine. It's not the fact that we have more dollars chasing the same amount of goods or even less goods due to the supply chain crisis. It's not the fact that Joe Biden shut down the oil pipelines and destroyed American energy independence and now has to go around to our known enemies like Iran and Venezuela and ask them to produce more oil. No, it's Putin's fault. Gas prices alone accounted for more than half of the monthly increase in the CPI, and over the past year, gas prices are up 48%, said Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate. So gas prices are high, and people are not able to make a profit off of this rideshare and delivery jobs, and it's forcing people to quit, which is all part of the plan, because Uber will launch their driverless food deliveries in California in 2022. This is from Business Insider. Now, you can call me a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist all you want, right? But I believe that this was done on purpose to phase you out of the gig economy. All this talk about the fourth industrial revolution and AI, robotics taking over the worker jobs and humans no longer being useful to the economy. This is all a part of the plan. This is all a part of the Great Reset. In my opinion, let me know what you think about this in the comments. But guys, in California, a lot of people have been having issues getting on with Uber. I have been trying to get on with Uber for over 2 years now. The first time I applied, my background check was pending for 6 months. After 6 months, Uber asked me to submit another background check. Now at this time, I was getting my record expunged, and so on the second background check, I cleared, right? My vehicle record cleared, everything cleared, except for the second portion of this background check, which is the criminal portion, right? And so they outsourced the criminal portion of the background check to a company called Checker, right? And ever since the pandemic started, Checker has been having issues and delays getting people's criminal background checks from courthouses in California and in Massachusetts. I don't know why these two particular states have been having issues, but it is what it is, and I'm having issues because I can't get my background check from Checker. I've emailed Checker to ask them if they could help me speed up the process, but I haven't even gotten a response from these people. Ever since the pandemic started, everyone has been working from home and out of the office. This includes even at courthouses, right? And so nobody is in the office to help you. And I believe that this is being done on purpose to squeeze you out and to phase out the rest of these workers. It's crazy. But let's jump into this article, man. I've been ranting. I've been ranting because I can see the writing on the wall and what's coming. Now, Motional's all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 based robotaxi will be making autonomous deliveries for Uber starting 2022. That's this year. This year. Uber is pushing forward in the driverless technology space with a new program that will roll out early next year. The program will introduce a fleet of Motional self-driving vehicles to make Uber Eats deliveries in the Santa Monica area. This will be the first time Motional's high automation vehicles will be used and adapted for delivery applications. See, they're starting in California right now, but eventually this is going to be rolled out across the country. Uber plans to launch driverless food deliveries in California starting next year. The ride-share company announced a partnership with global driverless technology company Motional on Thursday, implementing Motional's all-electric vehicles to deliver orders to Uber Eats users starting in 2022. That's this year. They're probably on the road right now because we're already in May. The pilot program will deliver meal kits from select restaurants on Uber Eats apps around the Santa Monica area of Los Angeles. The company said in a press release, Motional is providing Uber its next generation all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 based robotaxi with built-in modifications for autonomous deliveries, the release said. Wow. Los Angeles is one of the biggest cities in the country. Probably one of the biggest gig markets in the country, right? And they're starting there first with their autonomous vehicles. An autonomous vehicle can be on the road potentially 24/7, 365 with no brakes. How can the average driver compete with a car that runs on gas and they have to sleep from time to time, or they have kids at home that they have to tend to? They just can't compete. And so all these rides, all these deliveries, all the tips will be going to these companies because they don't have to pay a driver anymore. Do you see what's happening here? So this partnership marks Uber's first ever on-road partnership with an autonomous vehicle technology company. The self-driving technology industry grows more competitive as AV companies like Tesla, Zoox, and Waymo continue to test and struggle with their self-driving capabilities, while delivery companies like Uber Eats attempt to capitalize on the growing space. It's capitalism, baby. It's capitalism. Our customers and merchant partners have come to expect convenience, reliability, and innovation from Uber, and this collaboration represents a huge opportunity to meet and exceed those expectations, Sarfraz Maridia, VP and head of Uber Eats in US and Canada, said in the press release. He said that almost as if he can't rely on drivers, like as if drivers are not convenient. But they're all about innovation and technology and, maximum profits despite any ethical or morals when it comes to their drivers. They don't care. It's all about the bottom line. Motional, a joint enterprise between Hyundai Motor Group and auto supplier Aptiv, also makes its first venture into driverless delivery with the Uber partnership. However, the company said in November it was partnering with Uber competitor Lyft on a driverless robotaxi program in Las Vegas expected to launch in 2023. Wow. So, they're starting out with the food delivery jobs. Those are going to be phased out first. And by next year, they will have driverless rideshare cars on the road in Las Vegas by next year. So, I hope that you're making moves now to transition, or you're going to be phased out. You better start stacking your money. You better start doing what you got to do because you don't have much time left. Uber previously looked into developing a fleet of autonomous taxis through its own self-driving car division, ATG, but ultimately sold the division to autonomous vehicle startup Aurora in late 2020, following reports of obstacles in its self-driving research program, including a deadly crash, team issues, and flailing technology. But guys, they're pressing forward with this. There will be driverless food delivery cars on the road. They're probably on the road right now. And by next year, Uber and Lyft, well, Lyft first, will be rolling out driverless rideshare cars. And you're not going to be able to compete. They're going to continue to lower the base pay, make it so unbearable so you quit. You're not going to be able to compete, man. These cars are going to be on the road all day, no breaks, all profit to the companies. How can you compete? And this is going to eventually happen to all of our jobs. The future is scary. The future is like Black Mirror on steroids. It's crazy. So guys, you remember, I think it was about a year or two ago, Uber bought out Postmates. Like, I used to work for Postmates. I worked for Postmates for 2 years. I probably did hundreds of deliveries with them. I appreciate them for giving me a chance, man. But big money conglomerate Uber bought Postmates and phased them out. And so every Postmates worker had to assimilate into Uber, right? And a lot of us weren't even able to do that because Uber has been playing with our background checks. It's really sad because despite all of my deliveries, I thought that Uber would take that into consideration and bring me on board because I'm a good worker. No, they didn't care. They didn't care at all. They bought the company and they killed it. They phased everybody out. It was either get down or lay down. And we can't even get down because Uber is playing with our background checks. Right? So Uber bought out Postmates. Now Grubhub is up for sale. Just Eat Takeaway is exploring a sale of Grubhub barely a year after buying the company. Guys, Uber may buy them out too. Or Lyft. Lyft may buy them out, you know? Because I think Lyft doesn't have their own food delivery portion. I could be wrong. You know, they could be partnered with DoorDash. I'm not sure. But if Lyft or Uber was to buy Grubhub, that would be another company phased out of this gig economy. All those workers would be phased out. We are seeing a monopoly takeover of the gig economy is forming. There's only going to be like 2 entities left, Uber and Lyft. Everyone else is going to be phased out, seems like. And so you got to make moves right now to transition before you get wrecked. If you're not already wrecked, because a lot of people are struggling due to these gas prices and just horrible working conditions. But this is why I believe that they did not want Prop 22 to pass in California, because it was going to make Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and all these gig workers become employees, right? And as an employee, you get benefits. And they did not want to do that, which is why they fought so hard against it, right? And these companies have made record profits off of your labor. And they, now that they're done using you, they're ready to get rid of you, phase you out. Like the rideshare professor says, like, they pimped you, man. The CEOs are real pimps, man. It's crazy. And they're taking over. And they're phasing out, man. It's crazy. And this should be against the law. Like, monopolies should be against the law. These companies should be broken up, man. They should be. We need fair competition. And that's not what we're seeing here with these companies. They're buying each other out, phasing out hundreds of thousands of jobs, and not even allowing people to assimilate into their companies. Because the writing is on the wall. They don't need you anymore. And so Uber drivers need to make moves now. You need to make moves now to transition into another field before you get wrecked. Let me know what you think about all this. This is RPU, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the 4th Industrial Revolution. Peace.
What's going to happen is robots will be able to do everything better than us. I'm including, all of us, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to do about this. This is really like the scariest problem to me, I tell you. Yeah, so I really think we need government regulation here, just to, because this is, ensuring the public good is served. Because you've got companies that are racing, that they kind of have to race to build AI, or they're going to be made uncompetitive. Essentially, if your competitor is racing to build AI and you don't, they will crush you. So then you're like, we don't want to be crushed. So, I guess we need to build it too. That's where you need the regulators to come in and say, hey guys, you all need to really, just pause and make sure this is safe. And when it's cool and and the regulators are convinced that it's safe to proceed, then you can go. But otherwise, slow down. But you kind of need the regulators to do that for all the teams in the game. There's something like 12% of jobs are transport. Transport will be one of the first things to go fully autonomous. But when I say everything, the robots will be able to do everything.